Moresby.
Went to Fort Moresby, and we boarded the Aquitania there, which was then the biggest ship afloat. There was an air raid alert, and they decided to move the Aquitania out, and they got her out and started on the trip down to Sydney.
Yes. And in Sydney you picked up some further troops?
Hundreds of troops.
Yes.
Reinforcements, one thing or another in Sydney.
Did you go to Tassie?
No, from Sydney we went well south, I think. It got very cold. And then we came into Perth, which was, from the machine gunners, was their hometown, but no leave was granted for them.
That would have been a sour note for the troops.
It certainly was.
But I believe that you Colonel Ankletel, required you to escort some patients to the mainland?
Yes. He told me I had to take escort a sick contingent to Hollywood Hospital, which I did.
Now it's on record that the troops, being unimpressed with not getting shore leave, actually went over the side.
Quite a lot did, yes.
And it's also on record that although they were willing to rejoin their vessel and rejoin their unit to go to wherever they were going north, and I don't think they knew they were going to Singapore at the time.
Everybody realised we were going to Singapore.
Did they? Yes. But for various reasons, about 100 of them failed to get back on the ship.
That's right, yes.
Now the Aquitania didn't actually sail directly into Singapore, did it?
No, the Aquitania sailed up to Sunda Straits, and from there we were shipped onto small Dutch boats, I think there were 4 Dutch boats, and taken to Singapore. We had an uninterrupted trip to Singapore.
Yes. And about what date did you arrive on Singapore Island?
I'm not sure now. Somewhere, I should think, about the 20th of January, or somewhere in that region. Yes.
And the 2nd 4th Machine Gun Battalion, it adopted some defensive positions. It never went on to the Malayan Peninsula, did it?
No.
And so you had defensive positions on the northwest side
of Singapore, yes.
And when the Japs invaded, as I recall, the unit was left out on its own. Its flanking battalions had withdrawn. Is that correct? Were there Indians on either side? Or?
Actually, there's some military idea that I don't understand. The Machine Gun Battalion was broken up into companies, and one company is sent to some existing battalion, and another company to another existing battalion for a few days, and in the early stage of the fighting. But later on we seemed to all get back together, all except the headquarters company seemed to combine again, which seemed to be much better. And the fighting was very heavy, casualties very heavy. Then, on one stage, we were apparently supposed to have withdrawn, but we didn't seem to get any news about withdrawing, but a battalion on either side of us did withdraw, and eventually one of our officers went into headquarters and found out that we were supposed to have received an instruction to withdraw several hours earlier. Our CO was wounded shortly after that, and the two IC took over command of the battalion.
Now, who was the 2 IC?
Charles Green.
Oh yes.
Major Charles Green became Colonel Charles Green.
Yes. Now on the 15th, when the capitulation took place, where was the unit positioned then, or where were you positioned then?
As I said, we had to withdraw, and the idea apparently was they were going to form a ring around Singapore and maintain that. But actually, at the time when the war ended, the battalion was in the Chinese cemetery.
Now, did you have you had an RAP set up there?
Yes, but my main RAP that I had for several days was a very substantial home, very well built, very solid, big place, plenty of room, and I think we still had gas and electric light there. It was all blackout prisoners, of course. But once we withdrew from there, we ended up, as I said, in the Chinese cemetery.
Yes.
And I had an RAP there that wasn't so good.
No. Now, how many months did you spend after capitulation before A Force was formed up?
About 3 months. We had about 3 months in Changi.
Yes. And then when you moved from Singapore to Burma, as part of A Force, which vessel were you on? Do you recall the name of the vessel?
No, I've forgotten the name now. It was some old tramp type thing.
Atrocious conditions, I understand.
Yes, they put an extra layers of shelving through the hold of the boat for people. It was possible to just sit up, but you couldn't stand up between the different layers of decking.
Yes. Now when you moved up towards Burma, what was your first point where you stopped? Did you go right up to Mulmian or?
No. We went to Victoria Point,
Yes.
first of all, and we had a few weeks, 3 weeks in Victoria Point. It was rained all the time we were there. It was a very wet place. And from there we went by boat again. Some of us went by boat to Tavoy.
Yes.
Others marched to Tavoy, and we ended up south of Tambazayat,
Yes.
which was the place for the start of the railway.
And your first camp was just 4 or 5 kilometres out of Tambazayat, was it?
Yes, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Now, on the Burma end of the railway, you were stationed at different times at different camps. Do you remember the names of the camps? Or the description? I think they
Not
gave
very
them.
well. I think our first camp was 4 kilometres out. We had various camps. We had a long time at 55 camp, 55,
Yes.
and also 105.
Yes.
We had